Welcome back to the Perfect Lap Podcast. I'm Mark Jager. This is Mark Kilgore. He goes by Kilgore. I go by Jager. And today we have Igor, oh man, the EV monster, piloting a Tesla Model S Plaid. And it's turning into quite a time attack monster out there. Where are you currently located? And give us just a little bit of background on yourself.
So I was born in Ukraine, and then my parents moved me to Israel when I was 6. I lived there for 10 years, and then I came to the States. So I was 16 when I came to the States. I am almost, I'll be 40.
We're all getting old, my friend. We're all getting old.
I know. But yeah, I mean, I still got hopefully like 20, 30 years left of racing.
Yeah, I'll say that's all we can all hope for, right?
So yeah, I mean, hopefully that. And then other than that, right now I'm resigning. I'm in right outside of Philadelphia. Um, and yeah,
Dude, you're way up there. I mean,
Yeah.
when I
way up there.
think of East Coast, so you are a true East Coaster. You're not just one of those people who live on the other side of the Rocky Mountains. You're an
No,
actual
he's
East
way over
Coast
there.
guy.
Way over there.
All the way.
RIP pit race. That kind of sucks for your location, your area.
I know, and you know what? That was the first time I went there, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go, man. I wish I would have went before.
Oh,
I wish I would have went before because I did not get. You know, it's like something you get like a little tease of it.
little taste.
Not a taste. It's like a tease. I'm like, whoa.
So
that's
if you didn't go to pit race, what's your like home track? What's the track that you go to on the regular?
so. I started at Pocono Raceway.
Okay.
Actually, at the start, I was supposed to start at NJMP, and I even signed up for it, and that was back in 2020. And apparently, I found out 2020. Yeah, no, 2021. And I found out that they don't allow electric vehicles.
Really?
Really?
That's I wonder if is it the fire aspect of like they don't have the
So they say.
ah,
I call them, and every time I spoke to them, I get that vibe that it's like when you sometimes you call and you say you hear that like we know that these cars are fast, but we just don't want to face the reality and see it actually in real life, passing our like GT3, God forbid. So kind of that vibe I get. And then it's every time it's like, you wanna the first time I go, you wanna run your EV on our track? Like, yeah. No. It was literally like that. I was like, okay, something going on. They're not. I'm like, what do you mean they're not safe? Well, I'm like, well, do I need to worry about something? No, it's just like, and he wouldn't say it. I was like, let's just say it's a safety concern with the fire hazard. I'm like, oh gosh. It's like you probably saw one article that one car burned down after it like literally hugged a tree, and you were like scared that from a barrier it's gonna catch on fire. I've actually never seen one catching on fire on track.
I haven't. I mean, I've seen a lot of things catch on fire, from Supras to
Mhm.
BMWs to all sorts of things, but I can't say that I've seen an EV on fire yet. I mean, it's just a matter of time. I hate to say it. The only thing that does suck, I mean, obviously we all have probably seen videos of some of the EVs when they go down in light on fire, or just on like open roads or whatever, and they are very difficult to put out. So I can see, I can give the track a little bit of a thought there, where it's like you got to have the right stuff to be able to handle it. The safety crews have to understand how to handle that. I mean, I look at it like as an F1 thing, like, right? Like if you took the guys from the 80s and you threw them out there today, they wouldn't understand the whole light thing, and you can't touch the car until it's safe. There's got to be some level of so I'll give them a little bit of a pass, but I understand, Igor, it is one of those things like they're on the road, they're everywhere. If you guys aren't trained, that should be something on the list of things that you need to grab a hold of and get taken care of so you guys can have that. So I'll just say this then, Igor. So you're one of the people that like GTA always was like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to New Jersey or whatever, and then never showed up.
Basically. So yeah, from that it came like, all right, I got to find another group, and then I found Pocono.
Yep. How
And
far of a drive is that from you?
so Pocono is about an hour and 45 minutes from me.
Okay.
Not bad.
Okay. Not great. Not terrible.
So yeah, that was my home track there. But prior to that, that was already with EVs, but I didn't start with an EV. I had different cars, and I had
Okay, let's break into that, man. What does your racing background really look like? Please tell me you started with a Red Miata. Like, I really want to hear that.
So while I was in high school, I believe that was 12th grade. I was actually going to George Washington High School, which is very popular here in the Northeast Philly area. And we got a Dodge Neon, believe it or not.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
And that was a 3-speed automatic.
Mm.
So
And I'm assuming you definitely did not have, because I don't think they even made it, the SRT for.
Yeah.
No.
I loved those things when they were out, man. Those I thought they were super
so
cool.
loud.
At 17 to have an SRT, that was like,
Yeah.
gosh, I don't know. You had to make some dough to be able to afford that. But yeah, so I got that. I started to put like a muffler on it, and this and that, and basically like, yeah, I'm so fast.
Always.
Until there was one guy on the Civic, and it was like one of those like booms where tuning and all that stuff started going like really hot, and this guy on the hatchback Civic, man, I was like, I thought I was like, I thought I was going backwards the way he took off. I was like, whoa, okay, cars can do that.
Yeah.
Cool. So, but I always wanted to get into the racing spectrum, but I knew it was pricey, so I kind of didn't give it a second thought, and I changed the car. I got it, but then I got a Toyota Celica, which that was a rare, was a 95 2.2 liter, not the 1.8 liter.
Ah, okay.
So, and that one, the trick on that one, if your water pump goes or the belt rips or any of that, which I had my water pump locked on me, the bearing locked on it, it does not bend the valves.
Oh.
So there's no,
Okay.
It's a non-interference engine.
So I had that. I had a Sea-Doo Speedster that I was towing with that boat.
Nice.
So that was another one. Like, you literally, it was so funny because if you from the back, you can't see what's towing the boat. So that was that. And then I took a break from that. I started getting like, I had a Cadillac, and then in 2015, I got a Subaru WRX.
Oh boy.
And then it started.
And then it started. So it didn't start it to the intents of the track, but it did start where I'm just gonna get that little thing, and that will be it. I'm just gonna get a little bit more power.
I'm gonna throw an exhaust and an access port on it, and then
yes, it was that access port, whatever that thing was, and I'm like, oh, that's it. Okay, now I need to go more. So I got injectors. I got a turbo. I got a Killer B exhaust. I got this. I got that. I swapped. So I had a WRX, and I swapped it with. So I didn't touch the motor, but I did everything outside
every
the motor.
sporting mod.
Literally everything. That motor had 200 and I believe about 220,000 miles on it.
You were every tuner's worst nightmare. Hey, I put every mod on this car, but it's got 220. And by the way, don't blow it up for me, please, God.
Wait until you hear this. So and I'm like, you know what? So I broke the transmission. The third gear was kind of grinding. Third or fourth, I think fourth. So I was like, right, I need to get a different transmission. And what's the options? Well, the options is to get the STI transmission, which the US version had the long gear ratio, which was for drag strips. And I'm like, I don't want to do drag strips. Like, it's, to me, drag strip is like the guy with the biggest wallet typically wins, and it's typically not you. So
It's super fun when you're young. I'll always say this, like, I loved going to the drag strip when I
right.
was young and, like, you were just starting off in cars, and
Mhm.
then the more and more you went on, it goes to the how much money are you willing to spend? And
It goes to, I think, is the accessibility.
yeah,
Now you can just go buy the ticket and you're like right there. There's no challenge involved. There's like no, you don't need to show nothing. You can just go blow up right there at the starting line and just be like, whoops.
cheap. Back in the day, man, I wanna dude, I wanna say it was like $40.
Oh yeah.
I wanna say it was like $40.
As many runs as you wanna, just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sounds better than it actually is, because when you go there, hope that you're gonna get 3 runs out of the entire 100-degree day.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
at
believe me, I
max.
mean, good old LACR back in the day, dude, I used to be able to, if I really wanted to, I could do my run, I could pull back around, there'd be 2 cars in front of me, and I would go again. That was a great track. When they closed that down, then it led to Bakersfield, and then Bakersfield was like, if you got 3 runs for the entire night, you felt good, and that's when I
Wow.
was like, "Yeah, this isn't worth it
Yeah.
anymore. This isn't fun."
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so what did I do? Then I did that I got the Japanese transmission, short gear ratio. And after all my mods, and I ended up getting a Heltec 2500 on that.
Really?
Yes. And I was to the point where it's like, so I was crazy about the fact that make it sound like a stock, but make power. So I was back and forth with the tuner, and they're like, you're gonna need a second row of injectors, because we need to have smaller injectors for your idling, and then we're gonna have to get like 2200s for your rest of. But I had the ID 1700
Yeah.
X, and I got, believe it or not, on a Mustang dyno, I got 486 horsepower. I have the dyno sheet from that. On an unopened WRX 2.0 block. It was insanely fast.
Oh, I I'm gonna tell you right now, my Subaru making 430 on street tires on the street, I was like, "This is a weapon."
Mhm.
Like
Yep. Yep. And I was like, driving. I drove it for about a year. I had it for a year or something under that power. Now, I'm not the guy who's gonna, red line at every red light. I only did it when.
sparingly.
And there was that one day I had back issues, and I was going to a massage, which is like 3 hours and 20 minutes away. I would wake up at like 4 a.m. I would leave the house at so I can be there like by 9 a.m. And I was driving, and that's like an hour and 20 minutes into my drive. I'm like cruising in the right lane on the turnpike, and there's that white Buick behind me, passes me, and switches lane right in front of me. I'm like, and like, I literally was cruising constant speed, didn't not bother anyone. He literally went right in front of me, like, okay, because I was the only car there. So he didn't want to be too far away, I guess, from me, but he wanted to pass me. And he was like literally in my bumper. I was like, all right. So instead of me downshifting, I left it in 6, and I started
Rolling
I hit the gas, and as the turbo spools, I'm like about to pass him, and as soon as I passed him, I was like, I better let off right now. And right before I lift, I hear boom, boom. I look at my rear view mirror, that white Buick is black. And I'm like, yep. And I hear tuck, 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 tuck. I was like, all right. And I just passed the exit. The next exit is 12 miles away. And I go, okay, I know one rule. If I get stopped here, there's only a handful of companies that are working with the turnpike, since it's a private section, that I can get towed by. But if they come out, I'm going to probably end up giving my car because it's the amount that they're going to charge, right? So I have no other options. I downshifted. I dropped the load. I kept it at like 2,000 RPM, and I'm cruising. I made it.
What?
Well, I made it 12 miles to the next exit. I was like, please not on the ramp. Please not on the ramp. I passed the toll booth, and I'm like, this car is not even going to make it to that light, and there's a light there. As soon as I start pulling off to the shoulder, I hear a pop, and I see like a fireball comes right out of the hood scoop, and it was winter. So I rolled onto the shoulder, and I'm just sitting, and it's cold outside, and I know like the rule is don't get out because you don't want to freeze, and I'm like with shorts, because I'm going. My hand isn't like on the. I had a fire extinguisher. I had nothing, no roll cage, but I did have a fire extinguisher. And I'm like, just don't
As
light
every
up.
good Subaru owner does.
Just don't light up. So everything went, as obviously as I was driving, the heat disappeared. So I understood that there's no more coolant in the system. Everything leaked out, because there was like a hole like this big, literally. I don't know how I made the 12, because I was reading, and after that situation, after the rod comes out, your best bet is like 2-3 miles maybe. But I managed to do that, and I got it towed, and that's when the whole story with the Teslas began, because I got I towed it to the shop, and I think there was the shop was Vince Build. Does phenomenal work on Subaru engines. I believe he started his own thing right. Yeah, he did. He started his own thing right now. And I was like, look, I want this. What am I looking at? And he's like, well, probably 30,000. All right. Out of the equation. How about just to drive and just to have a little bit of fun? And he's like, that would be like 7,000. And I'm just sitting there and I'm waiting. I'm like, thinking, what are my goals? What do I want to do? Like, okay, if I build this motor for $30,000, for example, and I take it to the track and it blows up after 2 months, I'm down 30 grand, right? I mean, it's an if that it's going to get covered, right? Even if it does, where's the guarantee that it's not going to happen again in 6 months or a year from then? So I'm like, what do I do? And I was like, and what am I chasing? Because back then
biggest answer.
The Model 3 actually came out, was out, Model 3 Performance. That was a 2020. It was 2020. And that thing is faster right out of the gate, and it's electric, and it's under warranty, and there's like nothing to worry about. So I sold that car for parts, whatever the person wanted to get it, and I got the Model 3.
So were you a time attack fan leading up to this, or a motorsports fan at all?
I always wanted to get on the track, but I knew it was expensive, and I knew that Subaru is going to blow up on me, and it did before I even took it to the track. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to build it, and I'm going to take it. But then second thought, I was like, probably not a good idea. So I ended up getting rid of that and buying because then I started seeing the videos of Randy Popes driving that, and I'm like, there's something in there. And I got the car. I remember I got brake pads, and then I went out, and I went out a lap, second lap, and I'm like,
when was the first year that you went out on track in the
2021.
Okay. So 2021, we got our Tesla, we threw some brake pads on it, and you said, I now feel confident enough to go out on track and start exploring.
Correct. And that's when the journey of all the fun began, because to me it was like every lap that I went until now, uh, it's like I can do it faster, and it literally never stopped. Um, from lap one, after I got to feel the car, day 1, 2, uh, after that, I was like, I can go faster. And then we're doing this configuration. I can do it faster. And then I started going, actually, you might have heard EMRA racing.
I'm not sure what that is.
EMRA?
Give us. Nah, I got nothing on that one.
I'm sure you saw there. 1 second. There. These guys?
No.
Never seen it?
No. No.
Yes, they're actually they're very popular here on the East Coast. They're fantastic people. If anyone wants to start, with the time attack and stuff, it's one of the best.
Is it
Smaller group.
like a club level group that you sign up and they have their own time attack competition?
Yes.
Okay, so it's like for us on the West Coast, it'd be like our on grids and our and like our speed ventures and stuff like that, where they have their time attack competitions in house. And
Okay.
honestly, I cannot say this enough. I swear, I feel like those groups need to start getting in. I don't want to say get in line. That's not the right terminology I want to use. But we all need to start working with them in a higher level, because those are the groups that produce the Igors of the world that are then going to get into grid life and GTA, that are going to, elevate to those levels. And don't get me wrong, not everybody wants to do grid life and GTA, but most people that want to are going to find their way there through that.
Yep.
So
I totally agree. Yeah, because you start on the smaller end, and then depending on your progression, you kind of move on to the next level. And like I said, I started with the EMRA, and I did Pocono, I did Lime Rock Park, and I remember I lapped that Lime Rock Park on slicks without warmers, like minute 03, and I'm like, this car cannot go any faster. After I gave it like 100, literally the first turn, I was doing like a whole drip there. Cold slicks. What do you expect? It was like April, and it was like 4 degrees Celsius outside. Ugh. Yeah, it was. My warmers didn't work. I'm warmers. I just started racing. I'm already on warmers and all crazy stuff.
I mean, I was gonna say. So you bought the Tesla. You started tracking. Did you have like a slow build approach? I mean, let's get into and I want to get into, what does a build look like on the EV side as well, because most people are very, like you talk Subaru, and people can identify that. They can rationalize that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm also going to say that in our world today of Supra owners, maybe they don't identify with the Subaru build. And I say that because like you just talked about, right? I want to make 500 horsepower in a Subaru and track it reliably, $30,000 engine build, versus a situation where like I go buy a Supra and I want to do 600 horsepower. There's no engine build required. Same with the new BMWs. Same with quite a bit of cars in the new age. So first, I want to touch on. So you bought this Tesla. You put brake pads on it,
and Model 3. It's a Model 3.
Model
It's not
3.
Model S.
Performance.
Model 3.
There's a big difference. So not to confuse things around, there's a big difference between a Model 3 long range, which they call it, and then the performance. The performance, so is the Plaid on the Model S. They have what's called track mode.
Oh.
That track mode, when you put the car, it's a very powerful cooling application, let's call, where you can adjust your regenerative braking, your traction control from +10 to -10, which is still not completely off, because due to the amount of inertia from dead stop, this car without any traction control can literally burn slick to the ground without hesitation. So unleashing this amount of power without traction control, you're asking for trouble, even for the most professional driver out there. And Plaid is completely different world. You definitely want some sort of tracking regardless. So yeah, the performance is what makes this car the performance, because of that track mode basically option, sort of, and it records logs for you.
Okay.
So you can put a check mark, and basically it will run like a timer for you. Every time you go through it, it calculates the time and everything. So it's pretty cool the way they did it.
Okay, so it actually has its own, I don't want to say telemetry, but essentially kind of its own telemetry system built in.
With a USB flash drive that you can pull out, and you can read your logs, put them in race chrono, and study your logs. Yeah.
Oh, does it pump it out as like a CSV file or something like that, so you can
CSV? Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually, like, in so many ways I wish more. I mean, it's just essentially a data logging situation. You would expect more companies that do this type of thing. I mean, BMWs, Porsches, that type, those type of companies. I'm surprised they don't do that, and maybe I'm just ignorant and I just don't know that they do that. But kind of one of those interesting attributes. So again, you got the Model S, or sorry, Model 3. Model 3 performance. Gosh, Model 3 performance. You did some brake pads. What was the next level of progression? Because did you just literally say that you went from I got brake pads to I went and got slicks?
Well,
And warmers.
I kind of jumped ahead, but yes,
I was just checking. I was like, Igor is ballsy.
I did a quick jump, but it wasn't too far off. You know, I got So when I got the brake pads and I flushed the fluid, obviously, I went and I'm like, I can't get I need camber. So I went ahead and I got camber arms, and I drove, and I'm like, oh, I went faster and a lot faster. I need my suspension is too soft. So
because these cars are extremely heavy. Like how much did that car weigh?
So the Model 3 Performance was 3,800 pounds. Yeah, it's a pretty heavy car, sort of.
And when you first took it out there, were you on like the stock tires, or did you at least have like Super 200s?
No, I had so I went on a 265 Nitos NT01s.
Okay, so a decent 100 tread wear.
I actually still have them somewhere laying.
Okay.
Not a great track tire by today's standards, but a good durable tire.
Very durable.
Some people still think it is.
I don't have the size to try. I would have tested them against the AO52s, but I don't have the size to try it on. And I got the suspension. I went faster, and then I was like, the guy who was the fans racing, it was Julio, the guy by name Julio. He's like, you should switch to slicks. And I'm like, okay. So I switched to slicks, because back then I was doing like 10 laps. I wasn't really driving fast. I was trying to get a feel of the track, of the whole situation. And, it was maybe like 5 track days in. And I'm like, I'm getting good at it. And then I stumbled on, and it's funny how things work, because when you post your progression, you never know who you're gonna meet. And lucky me, I've collaborated with a great friend company over in Ukraine, which is RPM Motorsport. And actually, the guy's name is Dimitri there, and he is he saw it and he's like, you can go faster. And I'm like, oh, you're going to be pushing me now. And I did. I went faster and I went faster and I went faster. And then we started trying. And this is all like, I'm telling you, like, we're upgrading literally every session to me going faster, to me coming back with new testing stuff on the car to basically go even faster. So it's funny. It got to the point where before I sold the car, I'm gonna jump ahead. I'm gonna come back. I put a time on Pocono North of a 54,850, which is till today, I don't see anyone went faster. The fastest one was the person that went, his name is Vinny the Pooh. He drives yeah, his Instagram is Vinny the Pooh. And I think that was him that I know that went pretty fast on that. I think it was like a 55.6 or something like that. I lost to him that day, but I came back with slicks and I did a 54,850, and that number just like nobody could. I couldn't find anyone who touched that number. No videos, nothing is coming up at a Pocono North configuration.
Okay.
All right.
So
I mean, I will say this: you are on a podcast all about time attacks. So if there's anybody that knows anybody, they will comment below and let you know.
Yes, Pocono North configuration, 54,850. I have the logs and the my YouTube channel. I have the video to prove it.
All right.
And it was on slicks.
Laying it down.
Yep. Yeah, and then so going back, we started with playing with arrows. I started talking to Unplugged Performance, which I got a bunch of stuff from them. The camber arms in the front, to their suspension, to their front lip for Aero.
What is the suspension setup on a Tesla?
So it's basically just the coilovers and control arms.
Okay. Is it like a McPherson strut or A-arm or
I don't know what they. It's just a coil with a shock, basically. That's nothing fancy. I had my suspension their suspension was so good that you buy their street setup, you can literally put a stiffer spring on it and take it to the track, and it will be phenomenal. And that's the one that I actually drove it on slicks and put that time there.
Nice.
What spring rates were you having to run on that car?
On that, I ran 200 in the front, and I ran no, they were sports. Yeah, 200 and I think 180, something like that.
So probably a 20K and an 18K spring. Is that what we're?
Yeah. They're 20 and 80. Yeah. There was the Swift springs.
Yeah.
That is unbelievably softer than I was expecting.
Yeah, I agreed.
For those who does not know, this is the vehicle.
So we're talking about the white Model 3 performance.
Yep.
Okay,
and I did a few events with that.
Just for and I have no idea if we have a lot of people who are Tesla owners that listen to this podcast. I assume not, but it looks as though at least the Model 3 has like a hybrid suspension. It has with an upper A arm and then lower trailing arms or control arms.
Okay.
So it's not a dual A arm, but it's an upper A arm with lower control arms.
Yeah, caster, camber. Sorry. Yeah, the caster arm, then the other arm, and then from the top there has the top control arm. So double joint, whatever they call them, double wishbone. I believe that's what they call it. Not.
So you said then you started moving towards the Aero bits.
Correct.
What was that transitionary period like for you that said, did you find yourself at like a stopping point that was like, I'm not going any faster, I want to throw Aero on? Or were you just like, I need to get balance on this car at high speed, I need Aero?
So No, so basically I was to the point where it's like the amount of you're gonna push the car is not worth the outcome, because you were at the point of um 2-3 tenths of a second that I left on the table is not gonna make me happy. And this is what I was risking, to push that and to crash the car, or to, make it stick better and go like a second faster, or even more than a second faster.
So
And that's
it's the classic risk versus reward scenario,
yeah,
especially when you're
absolutely.
talking about high speed. When you start getting into those super highs, I was having a conversation with someone about this a couple weeks ago. Um, and he's in a Porsche GT3 992, and we were talking about this of him going through these super fast sections, and he's like, yeah, my rear end's getting light, it's getting loose, and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, this car is so expensive. If you lose it at that high rate of speed and you go sailing off, I was like, or you buy a wing and increase the rear end stability, and the car drives nicer. And like you just said, we drop a second a lap versus just trying to push it,
Yep.
and you might get a tenth or two while the
Yep.
car is hanging out. And do it makes sense.
The
Okay, so that
biggest
makes sense.
issue is the car is still, I'm still paying for it, right? So
Yep.
it's like, if you end up not having it and having still to pay for it, it's kind of
Oh
a
yeah.
bummer. So you're trying to keep it like as safe as possible. So I ended up putting the wing. I ended up uh, after that. Oh, I went to Toronto Motorsport with that, to run CSCS event. That was another eye opener that I went faster and faster there. I ended up, I think, like on slicks, I did like 115.6 there, but that's before I knew the track. And then on AO52s, I went like 116 or 115.8, around those areas, which was considerably pretty fast for a track that I've been to 3 times, 4 times, maybe at most. So that's it. This is another. So this is the drawback of having an EV. I would like to. It's very cheap, because in the 3 years that I drove this car on track, besides brake pads, and besides, well, I did upgrade the brakes. I'm just talking in general usage. Brake pads, and once a season a differential oil change, which is like $100 for front and rear together. That was the entire spending. There was no spark plugs. There was no, coils. There was
Oil
no
changes and
oil changes. There's no, there's no, when I'm on the event, I don't have to worry about, like, basically under the hood constantly, because this is not where my fun is, right? I'd rather spend the time to align the car where I would spend the time to make the car run, sort of speaking. Because there, in the mechanical world, there's so many things that can go wrong. Is not even a joke. From a power steering pump to anything that has liquids or electrical or any of that stuff. Which EV has its own problems, depending how I just discovered that. I will cover that as we get to my Model S, but
well, I was gonna say, like, obviously we all even in the EVs, they all have similar systems to some degree. We get rid of the whole ICE aspect, internal combustion engines. Um, and that is one of those interesting attributes to time attack. Is in time attack, you're trying to go out there and run the fastest lap possible, a perfect lap. I'm not telling you to go out and run 20 perfect laps. I'm not
Mhm.
telling you that you need to go out and run a full 30-minute session. I mean, personally, I still don't understand how time attackers are at a whole going out and running full 20-minute sessions and being on it for 20 whole minutes.
Yep.
But that's beside the point. Um,
I just want to
So
drive, Jaeger.
practice is practice, baby. Time
That's
attacking is time attacking.
that's a little different. So from the perspective of driving, the win part here is you don't have any expense, pretty much, but you're sacrificing the fact that you can drive, like Jager said. You know, oh, sorry, Mark. Like Mark was saying, you can't really drive. You can drive it for 20 minutes, but you will be getting overheated. You will be getting, you'll burn your tires, which again increases the expense. So if you want to be really economical, I do 1-2 laps at most, because past that, your power goes down and you're starting to overheat. If you push the car really hard, you will be overheating on your second hot lap, especially in a summer day. But other than that, you're saving a lot, because who needs to do more than 1 lap? The biggest drawback here is if I start my lap and I'm going to start after my out lap, I'm going to start my flying lap, and there will be a yellow flag. That's a bummer,
I was
because
gonna
right
say,
there is over for me.
I've experienced, and I shouldn't say I've experienced this. I've watched Craig Coker experience this at Button Willow, where Craig had gone out, and I mean, hell, we were just at finals, we were just watching stuff like this. All's it takes, one guy to go off, one oil spill, one thing, and for the EVs, it is detrimental. For the ice guys,
Yep.
they just reset. Maybe they have to go back and like splash some fuel or cool it down for a couple laps, and then they'll just get right back into it. For the
Yep.
EV guys, like you said, I've watched people like Craig go out there, and his first lap, his mega lap gets blown, and he has to go and compete and try to complete that second lap on like I know I'm not going to make it the entire lap at this power level, so I know I'm going to like lose, but I have to still go put down a time. And so that's where that is very tumultuous. It makes it very difficult, and you're really relying very heavily on the other drivers to, keep it in order, on that first few pivotal laps. Now, so we'll talk a little bit of strategy in that sense. So in that event, is there any time where you look at a session and you go, yeah, these guys have been screwing this up a lot. I'm gonna give them the first like few laps to go do their thing, and then I'll get out there? Or does that actually make it worse, because now you're kind of ingesting into a situation where some are on their cool down and some are on their hot? Like, I don't know, it makes it hard to try to figure out a good strategy besides just go out there and lay it down in one lap.
So I know, yeah, and I tried both, and I basically, when I started it, I let everybody go, and no matter, like when I started with Grid Life, I let everyone go, and I came out last, to give myself as much gap as possible, and basically so I can do that 1 lap and get off, you know. But and I did that for a couple of events, and then lately I think I realized that no, I can just be behind somebody, just give it a good gap and just fly, because the way they align you, you're pretty much just give them a safe distance and it'll be fine. You're not gonna catch,
I mean,
if
if
you
it's all
catch up, if
gridded
something happens.
accordingly, if it's gridded accordingly, you're supposed
Correct.
to be behind a faster guy. You shouldn't ever catch him. And honestly, it would be very advantageous. Like if Kilgore was the guy that's behind you, the EV is actually like the best thing to be behind, because he's gonna go out there, do a warm up, he's gonna do his hot lap, and then he's gonna pull off.
Yep. And then he's gonna be on
Yeah,
his basically cool down, get off the racing line, let them by, and yeah, basically call that as.
sure.
Uh, yeah, so that's the great thing about, that's not the great thing about the EV, which is you have to strategize it. Everything has to line up perfectly, but other than that, it's just it's like you take those, RC nitro cars, right? Uh, I don't know if anyone had an experience with
Oh
those.
yeah.
You constantly with a screwdriver, you constantly turning that carburetor, you
Yep.
constantly doing something because something is not running right. And the minute you get the one that is on the battery, you just plug it in and you just drive it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I mean, to your point, you're also that is an advantage of EVs. You can't. There's very little you can do on the motor side, and because they produce enough power, there's really not enough. There's really no reason to do anything to them. But I
Right.
would also say that if we were to compare that, to other cars where, or ICE cars that have uh, enough power to where you also never really mess with it. Like, my M4, I had some bolt-ons, but I never really, I did not do much to that car at all. And I, rarely had any issues. So, to your point, if you don't do much to the engine, usually the engines will stay pretty good and you're not in the engine bay all that much. It's when you start, as you know, with your Subaru, once you start messing with them and you start doing all these turbos and start doing all that stuff, that's where you end up, you know, uh, in the engine bay and doing a whole bunch of stuff. But I mean, like you said, that is an advantage of the EV is that you have enough power on tap that you get to focus on other things, which is nice.
Yep. But the problem begins where you just said it. Just as is, you don't need to do much, but you can. And that's where the problem is. If you can, that means you will do it.
Well, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Depends on the
Depends when.
depends on the on the rules and what you're racing in. But so, what was the final form of your Model 3 before you decided to
So
switch?
the model
And I guess lead that into why did you switch?
So I love the community of grid life, and I said to myself, well, they're not running it really fairly in terms of the rule book, but I can't change it, right? And what I mean by that, to me, it's not fair that when you're trying to run street class, and because you have all-wheel drive, they say you can only have up to 255 tire width. Because for me, 255 at a 3,800-pound vehicle, and for a Honda Civic 255, that's like glue versus ice. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
I couldn't do anything about it. I'm like, if I want to win, if I want to attend, I can stay with the Model 3 and attend, but those are not my intentions. I'm trying to, if I go to an event, I might as well try to win something, right? And with just the Model 3, it was impossible. So I'm like,
That's
well,
fair. It
the
does not
new,
really. It does not really. It can slot into Street GT fairly well. Obviously, Craig Coker was somewhat, competitive with it, but it's not the best tool in the box for Street or Street GT.
yeah, as well. So, but that was the new Model 3. The new Model 3 is faster, the new performance.
Sure.
It also overheats faster.
Trade-off.
Yep, it is a little faster, but they didn't solve the main problem, which is the battery. Let's put it this way: for our purposes, what we do, they need to
Yeah.
change the entire battery.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't that all like that's one thing that I love about Time Attack is that we're all we're all playing by the same rule book, and we all get to choose what we want to bring to the track. And you've kind of got to look at the pluses and the minuses. Every car has weaknesses, every car has benefits, and that's what I love about people who get to, they choose whatever they want to bring, and I like the diversity, and I like seeing, people try different things. So that's a benefit for sure.
Hey, sometimes just time leads you to your point. Like, hey, okay, so I started with this, but this is not actually what I want. I want more than that. And there you have to move to the next level. When actually at the beginning I wanted to get the new Model 3, but then Dmitry from Ukraine is like, yeah, but that didn't solve the problem. So why don't you just get a Plaid? And I'm like,
He was a good
hmm,
friend.
Yeah. That was a
I
good
have to.
friend, unlike the guy who said to put the slicks on. That was not a good friend. This is a good friend.
So, so I went. I was like, you know what? Let's. I found an affordable one. I was like, all right, you know what? I'll trade this one. I'll get this. I got it. I got
And
the Plaid.
that was the Model S Plaid. And when'd you
That was
pick that up? What
that
year?
was I picked it up in 20 last year. What do you mean? Last year? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
2024 in the summer, May or June. Um, got my brakes put on 2 days before the Grid Life event at Lime Rock Park in
What brakes you go
2024.
to?
I went to ZR1 C6
Okay.
carbon ceramics. Put them all around. Now, mind you, the car has air suspension.
Oh,
I did
interesting.
not know that.
No.
So I told the crew guys at the Grid Life, I was like, guys, I don't know this car. I haven't even had a chance to drive it because I didn't have brakes. So therefore, you don't take the Plaid. The Plaid is, to perspective, a fully low. It's like 5,200 pounds without brakes. You don't take it to the track. That's a no-no. So getting the brakes 2 days prior to the event did not give me the chance to practice on the car. So all this power, not knowing when to stop, I ended up with like a minute 10 with the Honda Fits there in a street GT class. And by the second day, I went down to 59 something. And I think the last session, I was bringing a 58 on the telemetry. And that was still not good for a street GT, but regardless. The last turn down the hill, because I later found out that I was bottoming out the suspension. Every turn, I would bottom out. So I lost it the first turn right before you go down the hill. I caught it, and then I lost it again, and I spun around and hit the inner wall a little bit. I do have a video somewhere posted
Really?
also. Yeah. So I was one of those that hit that inner wall a little bit. It was a tap. It was
A
a loud
little
tap.
taparoo.
Yeah. And that was actually the call for me. I was like, I have to, like, if I want to go any faster, I cannot afford driving the car to the track. I have to tow it. And it's
Sure.
not because it's, and so you understand, my Plaid right now is my daily.
Hmm.
So I have
Really?
the whole, yes. So it is my daily. But the problem is that on the street, I work 6 miles from my house.
Okay.
So I park it and I go to work and then I come back. But taking it to the track, if God forbid I put it into a wall, now I have double headache. I have to think, how do I get the car back? How do I get myself back?
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I gotta be towing this thing because I want to go fast. And that is just so.
Makes sense. I mean, those are all things that, I mean, every driver out there has to start thinking about and making that concession of, um, do I want to have a daily driver? And usually, obviously, the answer is then yes. The biggest conundrum that we usually fall ourselves into is, do I have enough money for a daily driver? Because then it all goes downhill,
I
right?
don't.
It's like it's like
So I
so it's
have
like, oh well,
drive
if
this.
I have my track car, then I need a truck, then I need a trailer, then I need a daily driver. So just
And
to
then the
go
daily
from,
for the daily.
yeah, the daily for the daily situation. It's a conundrum all within itself of just trying to figure out how and what, and but we do, right? That's just the
Yeah,
thing.
listen, with this car having 1100 horsepower and being my daily, there's no car can do that.
Sure.
an internal combustion car.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do, you're gonna wake up the whole neighbors. You're not gonna be driving that expensive of a car because every time you start that engine, you're killing it. Every time that
That's fair.
engine warms up, it's getting killed. So with the EV, who cares? You
Sure.
just put it in drive and go.
So the winter of between 2024 and 2025, you obviously got pretty crazy with the Model S. Like it
Yes.
underwent a lot of changes very quickly.
Yes. So I pretty much knew that right off the bat. I understand that if I want to if I want to turn a 5,000 pound car, I need to make it stick because what I was feeling on the car, even though it had air suspension, even if I would have put a competition coilovers, which I have right now, it's not gonna hold for me. So I've reached out to Unplug Performance. I got all the control arms, everything, all the rear control arms. Basically, got rid of all the rubber stuff on it, everything. And in the meantime, I was like, okay, I know the Teslas have a bigger issue, which is if you give them the camber, right, that they need, which is probably close to 4 degrees, I would say, in the front, they starting to have a problem because when that car gets into a turn, the loads get transferred. However, this wheel, this outer unloaded wheel also gets lifted. So now not only it has 4 degrees there, it also gets lifted. So now you have even more camber and you're chewing the entire inside of that tire. So that is a big problem and that is not helping you. And I was like, I'm going to be going through tires. So I reached out to another friend that does custom geometries.
Oh,
Drawing. So I think I'm the only one in the world that has a custom geometry in the front. But man, what a difference. What a difference, especially with because I also, if you paid attention, I put all these dots, which I did 3D scanning through the entire car. And I knew that I had to get some sort of a downforce. I actually CFD'd it. The car is CFD'd. So I have the numbers and I will not say what they are at a lower speeds, but I can tell you what they are at at 200 miles an hour. And at 200 miles an hour, the front is about 850 kilograms and the back is 1.5 tons.
I mean, at the end of the day, pros and cons of time attack are that inherently speaking, how many other Teslas are you going up against? And so it is one of those, I always say this, people are always going to emulate. They see something on your car, and if you're going fast, they're going to emulate. But at the end of the day, people always have to remember intrinsically that, like, if I tried to mimic what you have going on in the Tesla and my Mustang per se,
Mm-hmm.
like, it doesn't have the same effect. It will not have the same effect. And people really have to remember that from an aero perspective, is the vortices that are coming off of this aren't going to touch them in the same way, and it might come off and hit the wing a different way, and it might eliminate some down. So just keeping that in mind, like, at the same time, I love when I see people like copy things from even when they're on like hugely different platforms. Like, it'd be like Dewey and you going and going, okay, well, I did this on my Subaru, so you should do this on your Tesla. And it's like,
Yeah. No, it's not.
yeah, your flying
no.
brick is not the same as my flying brick.
No, that's totally. I mean,
The coefficient of drag of those two cars is wildly different.
Yeah, that too. That I do have some drag on that car, but I mean, obviously with downforce, you're gonna get the drag no
But
You
matter
gotta
what.
get
but I
drag
mean,
with some downforce.
that's fair. I guess the nice thing, and this is something I've sort of wondered in terms of Teslas. They actually do have very good, and at least in stock form, right? Stock body form, they have very good coefficient of drags, very low coefficient of drags.
Right. Yes.
So, I mean, is part of your thought process that uh you need to just keep that efficiency? You need to keep as much efficiency as possible, and I guess I say that because obviously, as you increase drag, that means you're increasing the amount of power that you need to travel at
Correct.
180 miles an hour. You
Hmm.
can't really change that power. And actually, you lose power the faster you go.
Yeah.
So I guess I would have assumed that you're very careful about maintaining efficiency of the Aero versus being like, okay, well, I can get more downforce, but I'm going to get more drag. I'm going to get a lot more drag. Like in terms of how do you balance that, or do you balance that, or do you just say whatever, screw it, just send it?
So in my position, I think the bigger tracks I'm gonna have regardless big problems. So to me, it doesn't matter. I just gotta get as much downforce as a tire can handle.
Okay.
Gotcha. By the
Um,
way, what size tires do you run?
so we're getting to the interesting, basically, tunnel of the whole situation because we're about to get into first race of 2025 with Grid Life was Road America, right? And that's
Uh-huh.
when everybody's like, "Whoa!" So I
I
am
remember,
running.
I remember seeing your car roll up, and I was just like, geez, that thing's got some wings and some stuff here and there. You were running in track mod, right? So obviously, a lot of room to do a lot of things. But I just remember I was
Yeah.
like, oh boy, that thing's gonna be fast, no doubt about
So I thought so too.
it.
So I thought so too. But I am running the same 295 35 19. I believe Jackie Dean running the same size. Um, that's actually
Hmm.
when I met him that event, uh, and then yeah, because I came back and forth. He was running like a 211, 212, whatever it is. I that's my first time on that track. But here's another negative part about the EV with this power. You can only do one hot lap. And learning a new track on one lap is extremely hard.
I was gonna say, do you turn it down to go like
You can't.
you can't like select the non-performance mode and go to like creep mode?
You could, but then I can change it to from so there's
You can't go from
chill.
warp. You can't go from warp speed to like
So
cruise
those
speed.
they have different sort of modes when you're not in track mode. They have chill, sport, and plaid, or whatever it is. Chill, normal, and plaid. And then they have the drag strip mode. But when you go on the track in order for you to start getting the data log, because you can't drive it on chill mode, it will cut you every turn. It will not let you turn. It will be braking like crazy. The traction control will
Oh,
be kicking in
it'll be
like
losing a mind thinking you're trying to kill it.
yeah. So you have to turn in track mode, and track mode has only one power. So I basically did a one lap, and I realized that I am overheating on the second straightaway, big one, and I'm like, oh boy. And I had the practice day the day before. I came on Wednesday, and Thursday I had my practice day, and I'm like, I'm in trouble because I second. So you have the straightaway that it goes through the checker, then you have that right hander, which is another 4 second on throttle, and then you have another right hand turn, and then you go downhill another 10 seconds on throttle.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I was going down the hill, I would overheat already.
Wow.
I mean, is
So
there
I'm
not? I guess two quick questions. I know
Mhm.
you're telling a story, but like,
Yeah,
is there not an opportunity that you go halfway down the straight that you're on full throttle, and then you just go to 50% throttle and you just maintain whatever speed you're at, just to allow for a little like, even if that gets you 2 laps, that's now you're increasing your time by 100%. Um, I mean, is that not possible?
So at this point, it's possible, but it won't be consistent. Because you have to let off. You have to let off exactly, the same amount. Kind of.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
a lot involved because at the same time you want to drive,
Yeah.
and not like cruise. You're on a really fast track. You want to make the best of it, and that's I was the way this car was started to overheat. I'm like I didn't expect it to do that fast. Like
Okay.
something was going on besides just of it overheating. And in addition to it, brakes were kind of a problem, but they weren't back then. We'll get to it when we get to pit, but uh, first day, I was trying to figure out how to drive this thing without, so I can finish a lap because I couldn't finish a lap. I kind of figured it out. I had to pre-cool the battery to like 13C because due to the AC system, the car allows you to basically use the air conditioner to cool down the battery. So I can get it way below ambience. And that's what I would do. I would have to overcool it and then have half of the power, a little more than half of the power, about 60% of the power at the beginning. Then around at the beginning of the carousel, I would get full power when I don't need it. And then basically by, what is it, the kink, that kink there, the famous kink over there, it would start to get hot. And then after the kink, right-hander, that's where you feel the pedal. And then last turn 14, when you go up the hill, it's already dead. Like literally you press, and I was cursing. The car just would not, like, I'm stuck at 125 and I'm going like a Miata. The only thing is I got there I got there in like 1 second, but after that it's like, well, not in 1 second, but I got there pretty slow, but then it stopped right there. Um, it was a nightmare.
So what you're
There was
saying is EVs are great, but maybe don't go to the biggest, most wide open, largest, wide open throttles for 20, 30-second tracks.
Yeah, it's I actually did hit 181 miles an hour when the battery was pretty preconditioned and good. So the car is capable of doing that with all that downforce. However, I did the math. Jackie Dean's car is even faster than, well, weight to power to weight ratio. He's about 6% more powerful than me. So, but I did do side by side his video and my video, and our turns, at least the first 4 turns, we enter the same speed.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So I actually asked him for logs, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll share with you." And I'm already waiting 2 weeks, and I
Hey,
guess
man,
he's
you know how
busy.
things are. Busy. Always
Yeah,
busy.
yeah.
He's got to rebuild a car from Laguna Seca.
Yeah, that's right. That's
I
right.
know. Like,
Yeah.
I wish I could have made that trip, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's just uh, East Coast all the way to West.
It's rough.
It's a
Yeah.
lot of money. It's not even because you have to. The problem is not even that. You have to have a lot of spares with you, spare tires, spare this. God forbid something happens. You made all this journey, and then you rip the tire, and then what? You just gonna go home?
Hmm. And
So
just
you
think,
gotta.
you're talking
Yeah,
about EV
that's all.
land where there's not a lot of spares needed. Subaru guys, they got to bring a transmission, a diff, engine, maybe 2. I mean, K24 guys, I don't care. I don't care. Some, I don't know. I feel like the K series, everyone talks about how it's the most reliable thing on the planet. And man, I don't know. I truly do not know about this whole K
But we just
series.
went back to the cheap reliability. Mark, 1 second. The fact that it's a lot cheaper to run this because it's cheaper to buy a tire and the rim versus, like you said, transmission or engines bring them spares. Mark, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Well, yeah, man. I mean, so how did like give us an overview of how your like what were the super big highlights of your 2025? Maybe I think we've already hit the low light of 2025. Road America sounds like it was just not a great time.
No.
But hit us with some highlights of 2025, and then we'll get into the future here in a little bit.
Okay. So the highlight of 2025 was I think that was actually um it has to be Lime Rock Park because this was um sort of like a nightmare in real life that I didn't realize that it was a nightmare until I woke up after the event and realized what happened.
Okay.
So
So
we said highlight. Now he goes to nightmare. This just reminds me of a thing where someone said, like if it's in your dreams, and it's like just remember, nightmares are in your dreams.
I will get to it. You'll see why. So um, going to Lime Rock Park, I day one kind of goes um, as normal. Chris Smith is in front of me. We were battling back in the Road America, but he won. I was overheating. That was impossible to drive. But
So
here it's like,
you did not have a event in between then. It was Road America, then you did Lime Rock Park. There was
correct.
nothing between, right? Okay. So this
Mhm.
is event number 2.
Yeah, this is event number 2. We're just going at it, having a great time. I'm like, I can go faster, but I'm not moving faster for whatever reason. I don't know. And then the following day, I was like, get it together. Let's go. So I go, I do my first lap, and I come out at 50, 55. So the record for track mod all-wheel drive was set by Andrew DeConey on the Model S Plaid back in 23. He did a 55,850. And then in the morning session, first session on Saturday, I go out and I do 55,178, I think. Pull in, everything's good. Everybody else broke the record. I think Dewey broke the record. Jackie Dean, I think, broke the record. Everybody's record getting updated. Nothing. I'm like, I go in. I was like, where's my record? Where's my my time is there, but where's the record? Long story short, they messed up. They missed it, and they kind of brushed it under the rug.
When you say they missed it, explain.
Some people might get mad at me, but
Was your transponder working?
yes.
Okay.
So I finish the lap and I go in. Because I didn't know the process. What happened? I didn't even know that I broke the record until I got to the pits, and I was like, I actually broke the record, and nothing's happening. And after I realized that I did, and my name's coming up, nothing. About 10 o'clock or 10:30, I'm like, it's not. They're not updating it. Like, why are they not saying anything? My name is not up there for the record. I was like, okay, let me go find out. And then they tell me, I'm not going to say who said what, but they said, we need to verify it. I'm like, well, Jackie Dean broke the record. You verified it? Verified it. Dewey broke the record. Everybody broke the record. Everybody's name is there. What do you mean you need to verify? That was that. That was literally left at that. I was like, okay, let's not get too upset. Session number 2 is coming up. Screw it. Let me just go. I fully charged. Session 2 starts. I went out and I broke the first morning record again. I went 55,172, I think. As I did that, they impounded me, and this is where the fun began. They
So
started.
you didn't get impounded the first time after your
No,
first.
that's what they were saying. They missed it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
you did a record. They missed the fact that you beat the record, so they didn't impound you. And because they didn't impound you, they didn't want to grant
they
the
didn't
record?
verify it, so they didn't put anything down. So in my mind, here's what happened. Since they brushed it on there was no, I don't think they thought that I can repeat it, which I did, uh, in the afternoon. So now they obviously they had to impound me and check. And they did. They held me there for 40 minutes, measuring everything. And the final word that I get, I'm disqualified.
What?
I will. So this is, yes. I kind of was like, why? What's going on? Like, well, your wing is literally quarter of an inch past the 6 inches that are allowed.
Man.
6 millimeter. 6. And this is actually the picture where they were holding me for forever.
Oh, that's that picture. Okay. Okay.
Yes. Um, and there's like 3 of them and 1 of me, making
Yeah.
sure they're not cheating here. um, and they so, whoa, what? Why did it? Oh, there we go. So I go. They disqualify me. I was like, all right, what do I do? They called the main. I was like, go talk to. I forgot who they sent me to talk to. See, when we don't do it fresh right after the event that it happened, like that's such a big event, everything gets lost. So it's like small details, but they're fun details, but they get lost. But
Sure.
um, I I went there. They're like, yeah, your wing, blah blah. But here's what we can do. If you fix it, you can run. Otherwise, all your times are getting deleted. You're completely out.
Yeah. Which
And I'm
which
like,
I'll give Grid Life credit there is that's exactly what should happen is if this is so we had a conversation with this about kind of this stuff before, and privately we've talked about this, and when we talked to Adam Jabay, it surprised me. It like super surprised me with the Grid Life aspects. Two different attributes to this. So I didn't realize that Grid Life didn't check your car for compliance of the rule book when they did your original inspection. I just
mhm,
didn't realize that because I haven't run with Grid Life in quite some time. In terms of I might personally running with them. Um, I thought they did that like how GTA does that. They don't. They expect you to comply with the rules with and you follow them. And then
right,
it's up to like competitors to note if they see something strange or like in your case, you break a record or something, you now go to impound and then you might find out at that juncture, which
yep,
can be extremely frustrating for people like yourself where now at that juncture every lap that you put in, technically speaking, is illegal because you're past the rules that they installed. And to their credit, they're going to say, and this makes sense, you didn't follow the rules. Your problem, fix your car, and then, then come back and see what you
Sure.
can do. So I definitely I see it from all different walks of life of how intrinsically difficult this situation can be where I just went and set a record in the first session. You guys didn't at this point you didn't do what you were supposed to do. Then after the fact, then I went and did it again, and then you did it, and now you're telling me it's invalidated, and now all my laps are invalidated.
And I have 40 minutes before the last session of the entire event
And now I have to rush and figure this out.
with no charge.
What's that? And
No
charge.
charge. Because they were checking my car for 40 minutes. I lost all the charging time.
You didn't bring the portable generator? No, just playing with you.
Yeah. That sucks. Yeah.
So,
but I will say this, Jager, on that point, I am still surprised, and I'm not sure I fully understand how they are able to do this effectively for like something such as global time attack, where technically for grid life, it should not be tech inspection. It should be labeled safety inspection.
Correct.
Which is what
100% agree.
Jibbe says it is. They are checking all safety equipment, and that your car is mechanically sound to be on track. They are not checking anything from the technical regulations. So safety inspection. But for like global time attack, they do. I guess they do more of a spot check in terms of the big rules, but I mean to efficiently do that many cars and be able to tech them, and then you go on track and let's say that your car is not in compliance and they just missed it, but now you go on track and now they're like, well, you're like, well, you teched my car and it was in compliance. Now you're saying it's not in compliance. I mean, all I'm trying to say is I don't know that there is a perfect way to go about it. I think it all kind of depends. I mean, it is what it is. You just kind of have to pick your poison and go with it. But there are a couple of different ways to do it, and I can see the pros and the cons of both ways.
it's not, and I 1,000% agree with them. It's not their job to make sure that your car is up to spec. They actually being nice and they let you run in that spec. However, if you end up being one of the unique people that are actually showing some numbers, then you better have your car. Because even let's just hypothetically say they did check everybody's cars and they were all up to specs. And who said you can't cheat in the middle?
Yeah. And that's why,
Oh, for sure.
that's why the whole after the record is set, not letting people go back to their pits is absolutely something that has to be done. I do 100% agree that they do a tremendous job on that level. It's kind of one of those weird things. Like I think GTA does a great job of the initial spec check because like in this event, right? They would have caught your wing because they very much care about those type of attributes.
Right.
They would catch your wing in the initial inspection and you'd have been good to go for the, from that. Now, on this intrinsic similar side to how GTA and Grid Life work it is, if a competitor sees you cheating and knows that you're cheating or doing something gray, they can report it and then they will look into it, and both GTA and Grid Life will do just the same. We have heard stories in the past of people where they're like, yeah, someone didn't report something until before the final session. And because of that, they end up in a similar situation to you where they end up in a problem where they have to fix something just before the final session. But whether it be this or that, but again, I know for fact that it's just as easy to go through tech inspection at GTA and then go back to your pits and then cheat.
Sure. Yeah.
And then you could run the whole day, because if they don't do that after record check out of your car right when you pull off track,
Yep.
that is the key to making sure, things are
That is
absolutely.
when, to keep things fair, they
Yes.
need to do that right off the track.
Yeah. But
Yep. Fair
again,
enough.
I understand that's personnel, that's bodies, that's like,
Yep.
how many there's, like you said, in that first session, if 5 people set records, you got to pull 5 cars into impound and do, full bore checkouts on all of them, which all takes time. And that could be
Yeah.
10 minutes, that could be 3 minutes, that could be 20 minutes, as complicated depending on the class, blah 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 blah. So yeah, it just
Let me
again,
also throw in a little more context there, which is throughout the year it was a evolving process, at least with Grid Life. At the beginning of the year, right, there was sort of a conversation we were having. Drivers were being like, "Look, we do want more scrutineering of the cars. We want to make sure everybody's in compliance." But I'll note that I can very specifically remember at Mid Ohio, which is kind of mid season, but before both Road America and Lime Rock, they were doing those checks in the paddock, right? So if you broke a record, you would go back to the paddock, but then they would very shortly after have someone come by over to your paddock spot, and they'd be checking your car. And some of that may also be logistics. I don't know. I'm not in the decision-making process or knowing what all was going on through each weekend. But I do kind of know towards the end of the year, they were doing more of exactly what you were saying, Igor, actually specifically impounding cars, which I think is, we can all agree, the better way to do it, the more fair way to do it. But it was an evolving process, but it's also, like you said, I agree with you, like frustrating when it wasn't caught. You didn't do anything wrong, right? You did what you were supposed to. You went through the right process, but then they kind of come back retroactively and say, well, your car is out of spec, and now we're deleting all of your times from the previous sessions, and you've got a few minutes to get it together for the final session.
No charge.
And go.
Yeah.
Yep. See, if they would have caught it in the morning, I might have missed the thank God I was thinking about skipping the second session. Thank God I went, because the only reason why I went, it was because I saw that the sun was covered for hours, and that means the asphalt was still cold. So I was like, I gotta go.
Sure.
Otherwise, I imagine it would be the last session.
Yeah. So did you get your car fixed?
So I plugged it in. It's funny because
actually, hold on. Sorry. Let me ask this. If you go to tracks that don't have chargers, and I'm pretty sure Lime Rock does, but if you go to tracks that don't have chargers, do you actually carry? I know Jager kind of made a joke. Do you carry a generator with you to try and at least get some charge?
So I should be, because that would keep me next to it. But you have to have a generator that produces 11.5 kilowatt per hour, which is in other language, it would be a 16,000 watt starting peak.
Okay.
And I need it running at least 12 and a half. So it's consistent, no problem. But
so that's not really feasible.
NEMA 1450 tracks have it, and I have the level 2 charger always with me that I would plug in and go, as long as they have the receptacle there.
Okay.
I can do it, which Road America I did. Actually, at Road America, it was funny because the whole garage went off because they didn't have somebody who did the electrical work, did a bad job, and they didn't do the ground correctly. So it shut down the whole garage.
Igor, unplug your car, man.
Took down the grid.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, so you're trying to get your car fixed.
Yeah. So I have no time. My tools are over there, and the charger is over there, and my wife with the kids on a golf cart. So I was like, all right, follow me to the top. I'm going to plug in, go down the hill. Jake was there with his Corvette. Unfortunately, his motor blew up at Pittsburgh. I think you guys heard of that story. So I asked him for a few tools. It was drill bits and a few other, because I was like, all right, what do I have to do? What do they want? They want me to move this inwards 6 millimeter. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna move it 6. I'm gonna move it. I think I ended up moving it like 15 millimeter inwards. Redrilled. Oh, the end plates, I had to cut them as well because they said that they shouldn't be passing as well, although it's not the part of the wing, but they can be sticking out as well. It's like, screw that, cut this, cut that. Literally chopped it all, everything. Moved the wing, re-drilled the holes, rebolted. I'm like, I think the angle is good. Oh no. Oh, I put the level on the, because obviously the level would move if I push the wing forward. So I put the level thing to, I wrote down the number, then I pushed it, and then I returned the wing to the same number of the angle. And then, and this is, mind you, like after they told me you're pretty much done, what can you do at the last session? Basically, that's the case. But I didn't realize that yet. I think I was in such a shock with adrenaline that I couldn't comprehend what they told me, that my weekend is basically wasted. And I only realized that the following day. But yeah, I went the last session and I did a 54,999.
Damn.
So Chris Smith flew right to the 4th place. Blew him, and it was a fun challenge with him, like all day. Chris Boersma was the only one that actually I think at one point he was thinking that I would have passed him, because he's like, I've seen you getting faster and faster the whole weekend. And yeah, after fixing that problem and breaking the record the 3rd time for the same day, that was that was something. So they finally, they put everything on the books. Everything is there. Happy, drove home. The following day, woke up, and I'm like, hold on a second. They disqualified me. I just came back from the dead. Like, it was the last session, like literally. Because typically when you are told things like this, you already, like, your mood is down, like breaking another record
Well,
under that pressure.
here's my thing, Igor. So to me, to teams that I've been a part of, that type of adversity, we would have taken exactly how you guys took it and did the exact same thing. I'm not trying to put anyone down here, but in the sense of like, if that would have happened to someone and they just said, we're quitting, then my thing is you don't deserve to go back on track. And I say that just because adversity is very high in this sport. You have to be able to push through and persevere. And if something as small as like, I got to make some changes and I got to, I get it. You broke records multiple sessions and they were disqualifying and all those things. But that level of adversity and being able to come back from that shows what your team is capable of, what you are capable of. And I love the fact that you probably got in that car and drove with like the red mist galore chasing you chasing it, whatever you want to call it, just trying to say like, no, 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 I will not be denied. I am going to get there. So, I look at it as like one of those great moments. Like I'm going to tell you right now, 20 years from now, you will still be retelling this same story with this amount of emotion and saying how awesome this was that I was able to break this record through all of this. And I know when you tell the story, it does kind of portray this like good guy, bad guy situation. It's a perfect storm, right? It's a perfect storm of just things that can go wrong and things that can happen. And that's where, like, again, I guarantee you the next time that you break a record and you broke a record, you're going to be throwing your hand up real quick asking, hey guys, where's my tech? Where's my, you're going to be trying to pull into the spot. So it's like just those things that we learn along the way that are going to make it better for all. It's going to be awesome. But other than that, I mean, so again, that was a nightmare that turned into a dream. So
Yeah. Yeah. Technically speaking. Yep. Yep.
a dream,
Uh,
nightmare, back to dream.
Yep. Yep. And then, yeah, that was the end. And I was like, I thought I'm pretty much done with my, with the year. And then I was like, hold on a minute. Why not? Pittsburgh closing. I'm like, last time, let me just go. Um, and I went. And there was a lot of scenarios that are actually made it good that I went at the end of the year, because otherwise I would have never found out what I found out. So it was really good that it happened. So again, I don't know the track. Obviously, I have to learn such a big track under one lap. What's going on, being there, and the Chargers there, one minute they're on, 1 minute they're off. I'm running around just trying to figure out how to keep them on. It was a small hectic situation, but it's normal. It comes with EVs once everybody's figuring out what that is. But yeah, I went out and I started feeling that something was off. I would not. So the brake, I would brake on the out lap, and the thing wants to push you through the windshield. But then, as the brake get a little warmer, just a little bit, you don't need a lot. Like literally, you just press it 2-3 times just to get some heat into the tires. Not even the tires, just in general, just to check if you have brakes. They would fade, like you press and there's like no brakes. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I was like, all right, I got it. So let me pull this up, because this is I should have had it, and apparently I didn't. Where's that kink? There we go. So whoop, where was that? Oh, we lost somebody. Is that
Oh,
right?
we're here, don't worry.
Okay. Oh.
So what we're going to be looking at is an event or I shouldn't say an event, an issue that occurred on track to Igor at pit race
Yeah.
with his brakes in his hefty car. So you got it queued up, Igor, ready to shoot it?
Yeah.
Hit
The
it up,
car is
man. Give us a glimpse. So for all of our visual viewers, Igor's gonna cue us up this little ABS failure issue that he experienced at pit race, and then we'll have to dive into what he found after the fact.
So this is the 155 miles per hour kink. This is the first time I went off.
I love how he says, "This is the first time I went off." So what we're watching here, it says 155-mile-an-hour kink at pit race. He's basically coming down. Obviously, you're expecting braking, and braking didn't happen.
Nope. We can look
And
at it again. Nope.
it's one of those interesting moments where you kind of can see as he's coming in. Obviously, a lot of people might try to like left foot brake or something like that, and you can see that he's coming in, and then all of a sudden he's hitting the brakes, and it's just like nothing. Like you can see actually some braking was being done because you can see your belts, and you can see the belts kind of move away from your body in the direction of braking. But obviously not to the level of braking that you expected. So kind of, okay, we got to see that. Now give us a little rundown. What experience did you have? And then how many times did you experience this?
So this was the first time that I was like, okay, something is definitely off here, because I can't, I obviously couldn't stop. And so that lap due to that lap, they put me in Group B. And
They instantly said you suck, huh?
yeah, they're like, this was the morning session on Saturday. Wait, Saturday? Yeah, Saturday. So I was like, all right, whatever. Group B, I was the first one. I was like, oh, well, at least nobody's going to be on my way.
Yeah.
I got this. and I do my out lap.
And then you instantly went into.
I do my out lap. I start my hot lap. Camera's on me. Kyle's like, and we have Igor Kesilyov here hitting the brakes, and 4 wheels lock off and straight off.
Commentator
Kyle
curse.
really helped you out with that one.
Yep. I do have the video of the inside of the outside, but I'm only going to show right now the inside. If anyone wants to look the outside, they will have to watch the episode of Grid Life Pittsburgh International. But I will share this one. And this is all, it has all the telemetry on it.
Nice.
And all the speed also.
So did you go off? Did you go off a third time as well?
I did. So
Oh man,
that was my stupidity, because it was right after this one. I did not. I was in a kind of like, I did not see that it kicked me out of the track mode, and the ABS light was on as well. I did not see that.
So it was signaling to you. That signal was on, saying, "Bro."
So
usually after 2 or 3 offs, that's when that's when Grid Life comes over and says, "You doing okay?
How much drinking are you doing during the day?"
Maybe you need to check your car before you head back out there."
So here's that one.
Now we
so
get
this is the straightaway. Look at the speed already here. We're 155-ish.
155 coming in. Good telemetry, good data on his part. So if you want to check this out, go to his Instagram page. Oh man.
Oh, I lied. Hold on, that was not it. Sorry. I'm gonna come up. It's this one. I literally marked it. You guys ready?
Go for it.
All right, there's no telemetry in this one.
God.
Boo.
But
yeah. Oh man, I was excited for the telemetry portion of it.
Sorry. Next time I'll make it for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, so you went off the second time. The third time you went off, you went, oh crap. You started noticing the lights and the issues. So where did you went back into the pits? And I assume at that juncture, did you end up calling it after that? Did you kill it off the rest of the weekend? What did you end up doing?
So this time that I went off, it was that time that I went third time off, because I was actually trying to get off the track, and I was waiting for traffic to pass. And like I said, the track mode was out, but I did not see that the actually stability control in the ABS was on, because I was watching the traffic to wait for the moment to get out. And I got out and I was on it, right? It's not like I was letting off and on to feel something's wrong. And then as I get to turn 1 after that straightaway there, I'm hitting the brakes and I'm locking. I'm like, I'm going to fly right off, go right off there. Like where that kind of corkscrews thing went off right there, cracked the splitter.
Oh,
I'm like, I got to get off this track fast before, because no ABS, no nothing. Thank God it was a big gap between me and the rest of the cars. So I'm trying to get off. I understand at this point that I have no ABS, no nothing. And I was like, let me just, try it ahead of time. So I go where that kink is, and I'm like, I know it's going to lock up on me. And I go and I pump, and it's like, it's locking up. I was like, yep, it's over. So I pulled in. I started checking the car, rebooted, checked all the wiring harness. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The code is on. Hard reboot, nothing helps. I'm like, I can't drive. I might as well start folding. I'll go home in the morning, which I did. As I was driving back, I'm talking to another person that I know from Romania, and he's like, yeah, same issue. Kicked me out. All the lights were on. I left the car. Came back the next morning like new. I'm like, cool. What do you know? The next morning, everything great.
That's the worst.
I'm like, there is something wrong with this car. So after long intense of trying to figure it out, I came to a conclusion. It's probably the ABS 12 volt like the codes were showing.
That left you a pretty pretty decent 2025. Obviously, you kind of caught our attention a couple of different times. You're kind of coming up in the ranks, doing things big. What does 2026 look like for you? What events do you have on the horizon? And do you have any modifications on the horizon for the Tesla?
Yes. So I have 3 events in mind with a 4th one pending.
Okay.
And I would start with, I believe, Gingerman is the first one.
That's
Uh,
that's pretty deep in the year. Well, I guess for you on the East Coast, maybe it's not so deep.
yeah, well, yeah, because they start. I believe they start with Carolina Motorsport, then it's Road Atlanta, and
Yep.
then it's the
Uh,
Gingerman.
yes, Ginger that was in June.
I'm
Mhm.
probably gonna start with that one. Then I will move to Watkins Glen, and then obviously Lime Rock Park.
Okay.
Mhm.
And
So you got a 3-month Packard, June, July, August. You are hitting it strong
yep,
in the grid life game.
correct.
Why not?
If
Why now? I'm gonna poke the bear a little bit here. Why not cruise? Well, I guess it's very very close in timeline. I was gonna say why not cruise over to Pocono for like SCCA in July.
So I looked into it. I will try to make it because it's right the weekend before Grid Life.
It's a little difficult in that sense.
So yeah, if something happens, I won't make it to that event. So I may do it, I may not. All depends how I'm gonna feel, and we'll see. Just you're saying just that one event, right? For
Yeah,
SCPA.
yeah.
Probably. I'm probably what, max 3 group. I will be in max 3. I'm assuming with my car.
Makes sense, something to that realm, yeah.
Yeah, and then if I have a good,
If you're in Max 3, there's something wrong with that with that classing.
oh,
Is is it that far? Or am I thinking
I
of
mean
a different.
I mean that's what you would run in Jaeger and
Oh, yeah, yeah, I was thinking the one
yeah.
above that.
Anyway,
Sorry.
yeah.
I'll
Anyway,
have to read. I didn't
doesn't matter.
read
Yeah,
the.
doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah.
But
But
yeah, if my points are good and I see that I can come out first or second or third for the year points, I will hopefully maybe get a sponsor and I can get to California.
Okay, try to make it out to the lagoon in September. Maybe make it a little 4. A
Who
little 4
knows?
guy.
Yeah, and then the plans for the car, I am stepping up a notch.
Oh. Are we
To be a
saying that we can make it have more power or more
mm,
aero?
it would be I should be making it a little bit more aggressive on the canards.
all right.
Um, I'm gonna leave the wing. I'll have to compensate because I am going. It will be a 345 or a 355, stepping up from 295s.
Well, they say car guys never compensate for anything, so uh, so you're gonna put some big beefy tires on this bad boy, is what I
If
hear.
they're out by then, because I have a problem. There's 2 brands that make those tires, and 2 of them are scheduled for Q2. There's another answer why I'm not gonna
Ah.
doing Carolina Motorsport or Road America, because it's too close to beginning of Q1, where so Hoosiers, track
Time Attack
time
Pro.
track,
Time
yeah,
Attack
Pro.
Pro.
they're supposed to be coming out with 345, 30 R19, and then V-Tour P1 is supposed to be coming out with 355, 30 R19.
Some big meats, man.
What
Uh,
size rims would you be running? Like what's the
13.
width? 13.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. All square. So,
Fit under the stock bodywork.
well, the front, I'll have to do a little bit of, I think I'll have to do a little bit of a gapping for for the clearance, but the rear I should be okay. I should be
Wow.
okay with just like a cover for the wind. It won't touch because it's the compression is only 5 centimeters, so it won't touch the fender.
Okay.
Yeah,
Man, well, it sounds like you have. I mean, the good thing is, what is that, like 5 months that you have from now till then? But you're basically just kind of hanging out, waiting to see if tires are going to actually show up on time.
pretty much.
Um, so that kind of sucks, but gives you time. I mean, I will say, gives you some time. You can always. I mean, you're pretty much trapped in. I mean, from a California guy to me to you, I look at it as you're pretty much just trapped indoors for the next 5 months, anyways. So,
I do snowboard, so
oh, okay.
my my second hobby is coming out.
But man, so you got 5 months to kind of make evaluation, see if you want to change anything else with the car. Obviously, you had a ABS problem, you resolved that. You have some Aero that you'd like to change. Some wide. Do you already have the wheels in hand? You got the wider
No,
wheels? Okay.
they're in progress.
Okay, so get himself some wheels, getting some bigger tires, getting the meats, and then we're gonna just throw it out there and see what she can run, and
I
track mod all day. Here at the Perfect Lab Podcast, we're happy to introduce Whoosh Bespoke Wheels as a sponsor of the show. Whoosh Bespoke was born out of necessity. Their race team struggled to find wheels that offered the perfect fit, strength, durability, and that big old thing, a reasonable price. The people behind Whoosh Bespoke are racers and engineers seeking engineering excellence, and they offer precision forged wheels crafted by racers for racers, with a product lineup that includes a wide range of options from monoblock to modular wheels, including 2- and 3-piece wheel designs, all engineered from the finest materials, although they do primarily use 6061 T6 forged aluminum, but they do offer things as high of quality as a magnesium alloy. So this really can work for any setup you're trying to go for. Customization is at the heart of what they do at Whoosh Bespoke. You can tailor your wheels with custom sizes, offsets, finishes, and even options like custom lettering, adding two-tones. Their colors include both standard and premium finishes, as well as special finishes like brushed, hand polished, and even paint to sample. Every set of wheels produced exceeds the JWL standards and meets the rigorous WCEC quality standards, and they are tested by real people with real cars racing all around the world. And guess what? Me and Kilgore, we're also going to be part of that team. So we're going to be putting these things to the test. We're putting them on our cars. Kilgore's going to be repping out and going through all the time attack season. I'm going to be beating them up at HPDE days and just having a good time with them. So I want you to go take a look at them and make sure you give them a follow on all their socials. It's whooshautomotive.com, Whoosh Automotive on all the socials. Go check them out.
That's what that the goal is, to stay up. I was thinking about unlimited, but it's the tech the temporarily plan is for 2027 for the much bigger changes that I have in mind, but I'll keep those for now for myself.
Okay.
There's huge changes that I thinking about making, but there's a lot of things needs to fall down into the right place before I can make any types of moves on that part, because it's a big step to make that.
Well,
You
Igor,
sure?
I just have to say, I appreciate you coming on the show. I really appreciate you sharing everything about the EVs and just overall, like what your seasons look like, your build-up process, and what you have going on in the future. I know there's a lot of people that are really interested to see how you do. And, again, I do. I think we talked about this a little bit in the before show. I am surprised. I'm surprised we don't see more EVs out there because you only need one perfect lap, baby. So at the end of the day, I think for you, you probably are in the boat of you want to see more EVs out there. I think a lot of people are very accepting of EVs being out at the track nowadays. I will say there was a time where, probably wasn't as accepting, but nowadays it does seem like we are very much in that ballpark. I know Kilgore has had his hands full with a couple of those EVs coming after him out on track a few times. So, It's a good time, man. It's a good time. Kilgore, I'll kick it over to you. Got
Absolutely.
anything else?
No. If you guys want to follow Igor, you can follow him on Instagram and on YouTube. He's got some pretty active pages. It is just his name, Igor, Igor Kesilyov, Kesilyov. We will, of course, have his socials linked in our description below, so be sure and check him out. He's got some good stuff, and it is always just so interesting when I watch your videos in terms of the dynamics, the the noises that you hear and that you don't hear, when the car is on track. It's just such a different, interesting experience. So always something I enjoy watching. So you guys be sure and follow Igor. You guys can follow us on Instagram at the Perfect Lap Podcast. You can also check out our website at perfectlappodcast.com, and you can also email the show, maximumattack@perfectlappodcast.com. Hit us up on Instagram, send us an email. We like hearing from you guys. If you have questions, if you have particular content or some topics that you want us to discuss, let us know, because we enjoy making content that you guys enjoy listening to. We got a ton of stuff that is coming out, a lot of stuff going on over this winter break in between seasons. So we're going to try and keep you guys updated with what's going on around the Time Attack community. So be sure and check back here often. You can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. As always, thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode with Igor Kesilyov. For all you Time Attackers out there, keep pushing, go fast, take chances. We'll see you in the next one.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.